Right now, everyone is having to live in the reality of like, holy shit, that was bad. How long before the spin takes hold and it's like, well, Trump was lying and he said this bad thing and everyone's just not focused on the substance and Biden had a cold and seriously, how long before they can reconstruct all of the like artifice and Potemkin village of Biden competence that they had carefully constructed prior to this moment?
I think they're making that decision right now. I think literally right now, they're scrambling to try to figure out if they can put the cat back into the bag. Because I think if Joe Biden says, no way, I'm in it, Jack, and I'm not going anywhere, Jack, then everyone will...
The idea that you would...
Jack.
I was just... I had forgotten about this, but Megyn Kelly just showed this clip of Morning Joe saying, it was Mika saying, Marjorie Taylor Greene might as well just written this report on Biden's health. They said this just a few weeks ago.
I mean, Wall Street Journal thing.
Insane.
Right.
It's insane. And so the only reason that everyone is now expressing surprise is because they feel like they can't get away with their lie anymore because everybody saw it crumble on national television. But we all saw Joe Biden after the Hur report come out and say, I have no memory problems at a press conference in which he had several lapses in his memory. It was like clearly not okay. We've known he's not okay. So if he tells his inner circle, whose friends are all scattered across corporate media, that he's going to do it, they'll find a way to make it work.
Well, that
I
experience...
don't know if that's true.
That experience with that report is what made me question, because after that report came out, where he said basically like, I can't charge this guy. The jury's gonna be like, he's just a confused old man. How can, you know, you can't put this man in front of a jury and he can't even remember when he was vice president. That was part of it. Couldn't remember when his own son died, right? That was the type of memory lapses that he was reportedly having. And there was a moment in the media when there were a bunch of pieces written. People were like, oh my goodness, this is really bad. Like, Democrats need to do something about this. And then very quickly, the ranks closed again. And, you know, you had people out there saying things like that. And
I don't think they can get away with it this time, though. That's my inclination is they can't. I don't know.
I would like to think
it's
so.
one thing, to that point, I mean, it is one thing to see it in a report.
Yeah,
it's another thing to watch it yourself.
Yeah.
Right, and that does make it quite undeniable, and especially coming on the heels of the G7 and the clips that came out of that, et cetera.
I think there's the for and against case is that first time, remember there was Andrea Mitchell, when Biden was losing in 2019 and early 2020, Andrea Mitchell has that segment and be like, we need to ask serious questions about Joe Biden's age. And then 6 months later, she's like, it was a stutter the whole time. I never said that before. The reason why I think this one is substantively different is that there's actually very crazy high stakes now at this point where the national public is so much more coalesced around he is old that if they try to do a similar like walk back that they did before, that they would lose even more credibility. Look, even these shameless liars, we have to believe, have a line. But I also wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't pat it past Andrea Mitchell and all of them to roll out the stutter. So I just don't know.
Griffin or the cold. Says we've got a CNN clip to give us all a flavor. We haven't watched this, so we can react to it live. Let's take a listen to how things are going over there.
It involves party strategists. It involves elected officials. It involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible.
That's
so,
in
Ryan,
the first 10 minutes afterwards. Keep that in mind.
That that is interesting because he raises a good point. Because again, we're not thinking about people doing the right thing for the country or whatever. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about self-interested political actors who have their own careers and paychecks in mind. He's raising what I think is true, which is that yes, Democrats are going to outperform Biden, but if you have that weak of a candidate at the top of the ticket, it is going to drag down everybody's performance across the board. So if you're a Rosen in Nevada, if you're a Tester in Montana, you're trying to get reelected, you're any number of congressional candidates around the country, suddenly you're going, this is a real problem for me personally.
They could also rationalize it though by saying, okay, if it looks this obvious that Trump is going to win, then somebody like a Tester or Rosen actually get benefits because from the voters, who want to check on Trump because they think Trump, they kind of like Trump. They prefer Trump to Biden, but they don't want him to have full control of Congress either. So you can see
the divided Congress.
Yeah, the old divided
There
Congress.
is actually good evidence for that. Yeah.
Ticket splitting is so rare. I mean, there is some ticket splitting. But if you have a candidate at the top of the ticket who is that much of a drag, it's going to be a problem for everyone.
It's probably more of a drag.
They're going to have to defend him.
Then it is a benefit.
Yeah.
They will have to defend him every day at every state fair. They'll have to defend him.
That's right.
We have apparently we have a Joy-Ann Reid clip. We got to check in with Joy over at MSNBC from our producers. Let's go ahead and take a listen, guys.
I too was on the phone throughout much of the debate with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic. The people who were texting with me were very concerned about President Biden seeming extremely feeble, seeming extremely weak.
Extremely feeble.
How good?
It's bullshit that they're surprised by this.
Yeah, and how good is Maddow?
But you know what, Emily? I mean, I am surprised by
That's
how
true.
bad it
That's
was.
true.
But not to that.
But we don't
and
spend
nobody
time- but
gaslit
we're not-
the American public.
Yeah, I mean,
We're not in Obama world, and we don't
Yeah.
spend time with the people who spend like time with him every day.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, the level, because
It was
here's
really
the
bad,
thing.
though, yes.
I thought, listen, we saw the State of the Union. He was okay.
Yeah, he was fine.
But he was reading off a teleprompter.
Right.
When he has
And he had the audience.
and he had an audience. When he has to gather the words for himself, it's bad. And it was worse. I had low expectations. My expectations were on the floor.
Yeah.
I thought he would at least have some moments on abortion or on January 6th or something that they could take and run with. And this was strong. There's not one moment, because when we were picking clips of like, all right, how do we want to represent this debate? And I had in my mind like, oh, well, we're going to show all the bad ones. If he has a good one, like we should show that.
Yeah.
What am I going to show?
Yep.
There's nothing to show.
Nothing, zero.
And
Zero.
there's
Is it his
plenty of things-
handicap?
There's plenty of things Trump said
Morals
that.
of an alley cat. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that was funny.
yeah.
Morals of an alley cat. Which also sounds like something that
that a
112
crazy
He's like in a
would say.
fedora. Yeah, that guy's got the morals
bro,
of an alley cat.
Are you in the production of Annie?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Got the morals of an alley cat. See?
It's like,
But
All the chimney sweeps know.
it's not like, okay, Trump looked like a connoisseur out there.
He did.
In comparison. But imagine it's Gavin Newsom up there on the
Right,
station.
yes.
Gavin Newsom could have picked Trump apart in that.
probably.
There was plenty to work with there on abortion, on Stop the Steal, on all kinds of things, right? That Trump is just making up shit as he goes along. But he at least seemed like he will survive another 4 years, And so in contrast, he looked absolutely, incredible. And you didn't see any of that pushback. Any of the attempted pushback was so incoherent, you didn't even know what point Biden was trying to make in response to it. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that you have CNN with
Van
their
Jones.
sources, Van Jones,
Nick Kristof,
Axelrod,
Joy Reid.
Axelrod, Joy Reid, Nicole Wallace.
And-
Casey
it's-
Hunt.
Yeah, Casey Hunt over who cut off the
The
cut off
Trump
the
box.
Trump.
Although I do want to say the CNN moderators were pretty good.
They did
Yeah, they
a
were-
good
they were
job.
pretty
But you know why? I think
I
the
was
reason
surprised
why
by
I think they
that.
were quote unquote good is they didn't really have to moderate.
They didn't
At
have
a
to do
certain
anything. They
point.
just had to read the
Yeah,
questions.
and
Yeah.
how many
Yeah,
other
that's
times too they're like, Mr. Biden, you have 88 seconds left, and he's like,
After the
Yeah.
Medicare thing.
It was horrible.
Oh.
And they were like, you have 37 seconds left, Mr. President Biden. And he just, it's like the complete blank stare,
There's a New York
open
Times
mouth.
headline on your screen
Yeah,
right now
look,
that's
I was just
insane.
checking for it.
Facing Trump's misleading attacks, Biden appears shaky at times.
Yeah, or it
Yeah.
says
Just
Biden-
about captures it.
Top
yeah.
Biden struggles as Trump blusters in a contentious.
But so-
And it was
Get out of
already.
here.
It was
There's
already,
no
yeah.
both siding this. It's a disaster.
And
Go
it
ahead.
was criminal for them not to have RFK Jr. on from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
But after the debate, thinking about that decision, like it changed history in a way, because if RFK Jr. is able to be on there,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
like you could imagine a huge number of people being like, you know what, fine, I can't do either of these people. I'm with
Yeah.
RFK. And then
That's a
if-
good point.
And then if he gets into the 30s, into the 20s or 30s, then it's game on.
Then he replaces Biden almost.
And imagine in the
they
swing
coalesce.
states.
or
Yeah.
Democrats
Right.
then start
They
getting
just
behind him,
back
being
Kennedy.
like,
Right.
look,
At least he's on the
you've said some
goddamn
crazy
ballot.
stuff,
Yeah,
and
whatever.
But you
All
know
right.
what?
Yeah, like,
At least you're not Trump.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Trump.
with us on the environment.
Yeah.
At least you're not. At least you're not debating your handicap like both of them were.
Also, zero chance Biden has a 6 handicap, and no way Trump won those 2
I
club
don't know.
tournaments clean.
Wait, Crystal, can you ask
I'm the
Kyle?
new golfer.
Can you ask Kyle whether he believes that Biden has
I
a
already.
6 handicap?
I
Okay,
don't have to ask Kyle, but I
Okay.
did talk to Kyle about this.
Oh,
And
okay.
he was like, no
Results?
fucking way. He was
So
like,
the one cogent thought
Breaking
Biden was
points
able to get
fact
through
check. This
was
is an
actually
official-
a false statistic.
So
about his
we've
golf
consulted an
handicap.
expert. This is an official Breaking
Yeah.
Points fact check, Crystal.
Well,
You
Kyle's
heard
actually
from
very good at golf.
Kalinske.
Kyle's an excellent
Kyle's
golfer.
legit at golf.
Yeah.
I am a
And-
new golfer.
And the
Yeah.
chance
No
that
fucking
Biden's-
way.
No way Biden carries his own clubs for 18 holes either. Like,
Oh yeah,
he
that's right.
challenged Trump.
What? It's like you're
Trump-
I don't want him driving a golf course.
Yeah, no, for real. Don't
I
get behind
don't.
the wheel.
Like-
To Trump's,
Yeah, do not-
Trump's credit, Trump didn't even pretend that he would carry his clubs.
Yeah.
He-
no, no,
I
he
trust the
didn't.
drunk guys of the golf course more than I trust Biden. He doesn't even drink. I'd be like, don't get behind the wall.
Yeah.
So Kyle's
The wheel,
official,
my friend.
official response, just so we can be technically
We
accurate
sent him
here,
his
was
swing here.
yeah, I sent him Biden's swing,
Oh,
so
good.
which
Okay.
Ryan had provided with the for
Yes.
the group
Yep.
And-
as background, and he said 6 handicap and then 4 laughing emojis. So
No
Yeah, we
way.
need to get like
Absolutely
Tiger
not.
Woods or somebody on here. Look, my big question, Ryan. Actually, you'll know this. When does Congress come back into session? When are these guys going to be back into town?
They should be back on the 9th after
So,
4th of July.
There we go, guys. So July 9th, when the hordes of the reporters swarm onto Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, and all of those people walking down the hallways with every reporter in the country shoving their phone in their face. What are they gonna say?
Well,
that's the big question.
that's something else I want to know tonight. And Control Room, if you have one of these clips, I'd love to see it too. But normally in these post-debate specials, of course, you've got a whole laundry list of Democrats, members of Congress, whoever, who want to come on and talk about how great, Joe Biden just did. I wonder if they've got anyone who is willing to come on and say that right now.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.